Welcome back to Bonico Tarot. And yeah, I figured it might be nice to have a little bit of sage to start this one off. Energies are pretty high, as we're all well aware. Sending out love, light, and truth, and the pursuit of it to all. So, here's another big report. We are dealing with a lunar eclipse. And lunar eclipses in general, can trigger fated events. But this one, it's not so much the eclipse that's of concern in this moment. It is the moon square to Mars. So we're dealing with some very intense energies. I would anticipate that that this June will be probably one of the most intense months that we've had in decades. So, as I advise to many of my friends, make sure you have your helmet on this weekend, because it's going to be a doozy. I mean, who knows what's going to happen, really. But it's definitely a time to not give in to impulses, especially when we're feeling triggered by something. So before I get too deep into the details on the eclipse, I'm going to get a little business stuff out of the way. I do offer private readings, and so I've just finished making a little flyer, which I've posted on Bonico Tarot on Facebook, so you can see it there for quick reference. But basically what I'm offering is I'm offering a one question 30-minute in-depth tarot reading. That will be for $35. And then if you want to go a little bit more into your situation, or if you have a few things you want to take a look at, then I would recommend that we do the multiple questions 60-minute reading, which a lot of the times they go more. Now, I can do those live, or I can also record them and send you a link online where you can look at them yourself and possibly opt for them for download. I'm still kind of working that out, but at any rate, I do have a space to send you a link at this time, and I'll give you more details about that once you message me. And then my third little itty bitty reading option is the I Need a Sign 3-card reading, and that is recorded only. So what I would do is email you a photo of the spread in terms of the cards that I laid out, and then a quick little voicemail or voice memo file for your use to refer to. So then also I would like to direct you to the Venus retrograde, Venus RX, for each sign, the reports that I did for each sign a little over a week ago. Those reports are going to be relevant for May, June, and July. And also a handy reference for your hindsight is 2020 kind of thing as we move into the late summer and early fall, because we've got a lot of aspects that are triggering significant changes, because we have moved into a new chapter and we're creating a paradigm that we have no point of reference for. So things are happening, we're not really seeing them coming because we're not familiar with the dynamics of this new paradigm. So Let me see, did I get all the business over with? And then also, yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so that when I do get videos up, you are notified right away. And so, yeah, let's get to the general astrological themes for this lunar eclipse. So, this lunar eclipse is in Sagittarius, and because it's square Mars, the dynamics are around love and hate. So, and, you know, all manner of extremes in this respect. So, it's a classic kind of dynamic where you really have to ask yourself, which wolf am I going to feed? There will be things that will poke you, that will trigger you. And so if you don't want to be caught up with a huge mess of details to have to work out when throughout the rest of the summer, when you really wanted to have your eye on other things, then I suggest you really rein yourself in. We all need to take a pause, take a breath, and know without a doubt that we see the way that we're heading clearly before we act. Most of the planets are in retrograde or in some stage of it, and Mercury retrograde is right around the corner, folks. So, you know, with all the action that we've seen so far, it's really best to be paying attention and put your helmet on. What this is also leading us into is we have a solar eclipse later in the month, and that will be, what is that solar eclipse going to be in? I believe it's is it Cancer? Yes, it's going to be Cancer. If I'm wrong, I will correct myself. And that's going to be based on our issues around freedoms and restriction. So I think that we're already seeing a lot of those themes that are playing out, and here at this time we're looking for sort of the culmination or the climax that does bring clarity and opens up a whole new path for many of us. One of the things that I've been finding that I've been advising my clients of so far is that when we feel like we're in this vice grip and the options are not clear, and we find that we're actually attached to a particular outcome of our situation, I recommend that you find a way to surrender without it having to mean failure or death. So, as with all of my readings, I like to play with perspective, and I invite you to join me as I provide you with the context of astrology to then create yet another story with finer details in time and space with the tarot. So, here's the deal. Pisces, this eclipse falls in your 10th house of career and fame. So, you could be looking at career goals through a completely whole different situation. But it's got to be in balance with your home life. That's kind of the thing. And you also may find yourself at the last minute having to take on a responsibility that's associated with a close friend or a partner. So be prepared to drop everything and go and assist someone in your friend group in need because of any number of reasons. But it's likely going to be a surprise. Yeah, that's the energies for you. So let's see what the tarot has to say for Pisces for this eclipse in Sagittarius. So there's one card. Oh, well, that's nice. You got the Six of Cups is your second card. So let's see what the surrounding energies are first before we dive in. Oh, look at that. See? Yep, balance of home life is definitely something that you are looking at right now. So let's see. Oh, we have the Ten of Swords in the past around a soulmate, and the Hanged Man. Pisces, Pisces, Pisces. Okay. So, just from the first impression I'm getting from these three cards is that you're coming to a new level of perspective on a previous partnership that was very important to you. Something that was very painful in the past, regarding someone you loved and cared for on a whole other level. You know, there's a lot of processing of those feelings and emotions right now. And this is another good reason to watch the Gemini retrograde, the Venus retrograde in Gemini video, because, you know, those themes are also another layer to your experience through this eclipse. So, yeah, ultimately it's bringing you a better home life, though, in your present relationships. So let's get some clarity on the Ten of Swords, please, for Pisces. Oh, for this eclipse. I'm going to do 1, 1, and 1 for you, Pisces. And another one on the end. Okay. We'll take a look at the energies of this afterwards. So for the Ten of Swords, you have the Two of Swords, clarifying it. So what we're looking at here is, you know, that there was a situation that you just couldn't see. Notice that the moon is a part of this as well. So, you know, it may be part of the moon cycles for you. But it's like things that were hidden from you, things that you weren't fully aware of, and the inability to make a decision around something, because you just didn't have the clarity. So now, clarifying the Six of Cups, which is the soulmate card, or children. This can have something to do with children as well. That, you know, that there's a defensive stance somehow on your part between you and this person who's very close to you. The Hanged Man is clarified by the Empress. So again, this is Venus, so with the Gemini influences, but it's also Taurus or Libra. And so, but it's also, it could also be a greater sense of knowing who you are and what you bring to the table in any of your relationships or friendships. And that this period of contemplation, and as you know, do reflect back, you're going to see like how much you've grown and how much you've matured from all of these experiences. So what is it? Okay. So we got a little bit of fighting going on. Possibly over a new plan, in terms of where you're settling and how close you are to your family, and how that coincides with your work. I don't see anything terribly, extreme in terms of upheaval for you. More kind of like irritation around the details of things that you're trying to work out with your community, with your work, with your family, with your partner, everybody. And, it's like everyone feels kind of defeated, largely because of the lockdown, I would assume. But, you're ready to make a plan, you want to make a plan. But at the same time, you still have to go through this period of reflection and enlightenment around pain that you've been carrying from the past. So let's see what Lenormand has to say in terms of, oh yeah, it's eating away at you a little bit there, Pisces. But you also may be one of those signs who's going to have to watch your money and make sure that, that you're not expending things. I was going to give you the surrounding energies, but it looks like I'm supposed to pick another Lenormand. But, you're going to be really lucky with things. As long as you keep an eye on stuff, you should be just fine, with a little bit of minor irritation, a little bit of going off by yourself, just to kind of process how you're feeling. Yeah, to get a higher perspective on everything, not just what's happening now, but how your past has shaped you for the relationship that you're in right now. How the past has shaped you in your career, the failures, perceived failures. Remember, I was saying before, you have to find a way to surrender that doesn't mean failure or death. It's possible. You can figure it out as you go up to the tower. This is the nice tower. Nothing blows up here. But as I've advised to everyone else in the zodiac for this eclipse, please wear a helmet. We'll see you again.